So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. We're here with Chris from Livingston. We're going to ask him some questions today. I'm going to start. What inspired you to start the band?
Um, it happened actually. I guess myself and the singer met
Mhm.
in a small bar in South Africa many years ago, and we just really kind of saw eye to eye and hung out quite a bit. And then we started to play in a band together already over there. And then at some point, he was like, "Well, we should just head over to the UK." It was one of the places that we actually were able to go to back in those days.
Hmm.
From South Africa, and and so then we just had to make a mission of it, beg, borrow, and steal money, and then head over to the UK and start from there. So
Hmm.
that was about it.
Wow.
All right.
That's a really cool origin story. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what would you say your writing process is like?
Our writing process has changed a lot over the years. Initially, we were very purists. We would only write like as a band together in the rehearsal room, and for us it was like, oh, it has to be like just pure what is just coming out of you then, and the song is going to kind of construct itself.
Mm-hmm.
And as the years went on, that also because of the circumstances had to change. When we started to tour a lot, then the opportunity to write became a little bit less and less. And then by the time we released the first album, we toured for about 2 years, I guess. And then by that stage, we were hardly at home, and the label was starting to kind of breathe down our necks. Our management as well. They were like, "Well, where's the second album? Is it coming?" And then we just started to take our laptops and sound cards and small little keyboards and stuff into the back of the bus, and started writing from there. And that brought us onto a whole new way, basically, where each individual one of us are into production and into writing. And so one of us would start a little idea and pass it on to another one. And that person would sit and have a little fiddle with it, and then give it over to the singer. The singer would improvise some ideas, and it would kind of go through this washing machine of back and forth until a song was born out of it. And that just developed more and more into what it is now, where it's, we can be in different countries, which at the moment we are, and come up with ideas and send it back and forth, and we have complete trust over each other, and now it's become that.
Yeah, that's really
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about the reception to your newest single?
I think the newest single was a little bit of a shock, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of expected it. We haven't released for quite a long time, and it just happens that people experience different things. You have different influences. Songs like your kind of personal expectation as a performer, as an artist, changes over time. I guess sometimes it can become a little bit more introspective, a little bit more personal. I think that was the case with this particular album. It's quite a bit more experimental than I think what some of our fans expected. Although I would have to say that we have suddenly gotten a whole new bunch of fans on board. So
Cool.
it's one of those things. That's how it works. And yeah, so the reception from our fans, well, don't get me wrong, we've had a fantastic reception, but I know also that some of them are probably a little bit taken aback because it is quite different so far.
Yeah.
The tracks we've released so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did it take for the new single to be put together?
It took that one took quite a while, actually. It didn't start off like a normal writing process. Actually, myself and the bass guitarist Phil, we for a while we had a little electro project. Wrote some tracks together, DJ'd a bit, and we'd written a track completely separately. The singer had also just kind of fiddled with stuff by himself, and he'd written this kind of like a, you know, hip-hoppy verse and chorus that I really, really liked. And these two parts existed separately for quite a while. And at some
Yeah.
point I was on my way to holiday, actually. I think it was over New Year's. And I just, in the car, I was just, these two pieces were just playing around in my head. And I thought, shit, that could really be interesting, actually. With a little bit of maneuvering, the two tracks could marry. And then I started to fiddle around with it, and yeah, then the whole new song was born out of that. But I mean, that song was in the back burner for quite a few years, to be honest. It's
Oh wow.
the recent one, yeah, it was quite a few years. And then actually only, I guess, in the last half a year or so, where the production really took hold, you know, where we really finalized the production on it. So
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, it's come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where was your headspace at while that song was being written?
You know, the original music, I guess my and Phil's headspace were quite like, I think we wanted to feel a little bit of a different scene, you know, when you're touring all the time and I guess constantly around more or less the one genre of music. You know, we've obviously, when we're touring around, even during festival season, it's a lot of rock, pop rock, that kind of thing, which we love as well. But myself and him also really like electro and dancey stuff, big beats. So I think it was a little bit of escapism for us. And as far as the singer Bekes, as far as his kind of lyrical idea that he came up with, I would probably put it down to the same thing. You know, I think for him as well, you know, when you're writing, when you was signed with a major label, and there's like this kind of pressure of like, sometimes you think you got to repeat the same thing to have the same success.
Yeah.
I think we all felt a little bit of like, we're going to just let ourselves loose and try other things. Yeah, I think so. Our headspace was in a little bit of escapism mode.
Awesome. Also, I wanted to say, I listened to the song. I really like it.
Great,
I thought, again, as you said, those two like almost genres or types of music usually don't mix. I think you guys did that very well. So I just want to put that in real quick.
Thank you.
So I was listening through your discography, and I couldn't really put a finger on your genre exactly. What would you describe your band as, like the type of music that you make?
I would call it post-neo-romantic electric rock pop disco.
That's
a mouthful.
Yeah, that is long.
But no, you know what? I say that as a joke, obviously. Like, I have no idea either.
Yeah.
This is a question we have been asked, understandably, so many times. Obviously, if somebody wants to kind of introduce music to somebody else, whether it's somebody in the media or just a friend, it's completely natural to be like, you know, they're kind of like this, or yeah, it's this. And that's always been a problem for us, actually. And I mean that seriously. It was actually, and it still is, a problem for us, because that's one of the first things that people ask is like, where do we place you?
Yeah.
What are you? And for us, we've always just been like, I can't answer that. I guess you have to listen and decide for yourself. So it's a nice thing when people can't place you, but it's always actually also been a challenge for us, to be honest.
Yeah. It's definitely, every song and every album is definitely just something new. So it caught me off guard, and I was like, oh, I didn't expect this. And then it's like the next song was like, oh, this is nice. And then the next one was like, oh, whoa, I didn't. So it's really cool. So
yeah,
right,
it's good. Yeah.
So you had touched on you haven't released music in a while up until this new single. Is there a reason behind that?
I think it's probably a combination of things. It just kind of came to that, you know. The start of our career, as it is, I guess, with so many artists, quite intense. You know, we our first years we played the London Underground, as so many do, where you sleep on people's couches, or the UK underground, let me put it that way, rather, where you hire a car, use your little bit of savings, you go and play wherever you can, and then you've got a day job and everything. It's very intense, and then all of a sudden everything changes, and you have to just run with it. Basically, all of a sudden you have to be everywhere, touring a lot, hardly home, and suddenly years go by, and it's I guess it's quite intense. And then I guess we're the guys in the band, generally most of us are actually quite private, homely family people. So after the last album, we also just needed to take a little bit of a break, take it easy a bit and be with our families, and just do some other things as well, So that's pretty much it. I guess also because we decided to really do everything by ourselves, bit by bit. We just made the decision to take control of everything ourselves as much as possible. And then it also means that it's just, it's a lot of work to put in. That big kind of supporting machine that we had before suddenly isn't there, and then things just generally take longer.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
Super valid. I understand. But I'm glad you guys are back. So
thank you.
yeah, that's awesome. So because we're all stuck in quarantine,
Yes.
what bands have you been listening to recently to pass the time?
Oh my goodness. I tell you, that's let me check on my phone. I mean, I'll be honest with you. For me, when I'm relaxing, I tend to put on just some country and western playlists. I'm a big country fan, actually, and yeah, that's my little secret passion, actually. So I just put that on in the background, and just whatever is being updated, I just kind of enjoy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have been really, really enjoying the new. And there I start to play it. Now I hope you guys are not being demonetized or anything like that. Bring Me the Horizon.
It's okay. Ooh.
I have been listening to them a shit ton.
Yeah. Excuse me. I don't know how PG rated your show is.
Oh no, dude, it's okay. You can say whatever, as long as you don't say any slurs.
Yeah, okay.
We're good.
Okay, no. So Bring Me the Horizon. Big fan, and I've been listening to it to almost the point of annoyance, where I almost annoy myself when I go for a walk and I think, just play something else, and I'm like, nah, fuck it.
I get that.
Put it on loud. And then I've also been going back to the Asking Alexandria album.
Oh, yeah, Like a House on Fire.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, what is the? Let me quickly check. Hold on. There's a particular album as well. Here we go. Is the album just called Asking Alexandria? By Asking Alexandria. That album.
Yeah, the debut. Is that, or yeah?
That's the one from 2017. I think that's not their debut. I think that was their kind of breakthrough.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that as well, that I've been blasting out quite a bit. But what about you guys?
Shane, you can go first.
I'll take this one.
Oh yeah.
So I've been listening to an unhealthy amount of Korn.
Oh yes.
As I said, Bring Me the Horizon has been one of my new obsessions.
Yeah.
One of the bands you spoke on here, Chapel. One of the guys had a metal project that had one album, and the band's called Nightmares. I have been nonstop listening to that.
Okay. Yeah.
Shit. Other than that, a bunch of All Time Low lately as well, jumping around. So other than that, I think it's like those couple bands.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of 21 Pilots recently, too much 21 Pilots. I just hit 1,000 streams on one song of theirs, so I think that's I need to take a break. And then just like a lot of just pop from like when I was younger by people who are still making stuff like Harry Styles, Louis Tomlinson,
Okay,
that
yeah,
type of stuff. So
yeah.
just like it's a big mixture of bands that we're talking to, because I usually binge their discographies just to be like,
Yes.
oh yeah, that's cool. So yeah, just like everything basically.
And do you guys have any kind of really guilty pleasures,
The Jonas
song-wise,
Brothers.
bands-wise? Jonas Brothers, yes.
Claire's very open about her guilty pleasure,
I
actually.
am.
Yeah.
One Direction.
One Direction.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like their music. It's good. So
Claire's gonna get all
Yeah.
defensive.
no,
I like it,
only,
okay?
only I like it. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're making music, what artists are your biggest inspirations?
Oh, I think that's a really interesting mixture as well, because when the band first formed, actually, because the band as a whole really formed in London, and at the time it was two South Africans, an Italian, a German, and a Dane. And so obviously with people's different influences, all these people, all of us listen to different things. It was such a nice mixture.
Mm-hmm.
I think something that all of us, bands that all of us really, really appreciated together was, oh God, now the names are just jumping out of my head. Oh geez, Biffy Clyro was one that we all really, really got inspired by. And then, oh God, what was the other one's name? Forgive me, guys.
No, it's okay.
I think maybe with all the quarantine, my brain cells have also been slowly deteriorating.
Oh no.
I felt
I
that.
get that. Yeah, I
Felt
get
that.
that. I get that.
I mean, and then really obvious classics that we got inspired by was the whole grunge and alternative scene.
Yeah.
Things with just interesting big drops, big choruses. All of us really liked the obvious ones: Nirvana, Pearl Jam.
Oh, Nirvana. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I can't believe the name jumped out of my head right now. There's another band that we all. I'll tell you the name. Hold on, I gotta quickly look it up.
Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it.
This is gonna be a tricky one to look up.
Is it like a mainstream band?
Brand new.
Brand new. Oh,
Brand new.
yeah. I know Brand New. I know Brand New.
Yeah. So Brand New, really, really, we absolutely love those guys, and we had the pleasure actually of playing at a festival with them a few years ago in South Africa.
Oh.
And it was just such a fantastic surprise. We had no idea they were on the bill, and we actually ended up staying at the festival. We played on the Saturday night, and then on Sunday night they played, and it was just the most incredible show. My God, it was unbelievable. So yeah,
That's cool.
Brand New, big fans.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So speaking of shows, do you have any pre-show rituals?
Many. I mean, everybody has their own little different things. I personally I really like to start just feeling the kind of the physical movement. So I'll pace a lot, and even just do some push-ups and sit-ups, and just feel like the blood flowing in my body.
Yeah.
A lot of and then we all sing, warm up together. Our singer has a magnificent, he's got a really, I mean, hopefully one day you guys can see him perform live. His voice is massive live. It's really massive.
Oh wow.
So when he's warming up, we're used to it, but even if we're like sharing backstages with other bands or something like this, it can really deafen you. And he's got all kinds of weird things that he does. So yeah, then we like to huddle up and just get rowdy together, I guess.
Yeah.
Together. So yeah. Nothing,
awesome.
nothing super strange. I
Yeah,
guess,
no,
I guess a lot of
Yeah.
bands do exactly the same as what we do. So yeah.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
pretty standard. Yeah. So what are your top 3 songs to perform live?
I would say a track of ours called Control Reset.
Hmm.
Um, then there's another song called Set Fire to Fire. That's like a massive favorite of ours. Oh, top 3. My gosh, we love to play live. I mean, just pick the top. Jeez, I'm gonna regret whichever choice I make. No, I'm gonna stick with the top 2. I'm gonna break the
Okay.
rules, guys.
That's cool.
Okay.
Those 2, I think, are just the. I could have even just said Set Fire to Fire because that's such, every time such a massive thing for us and the fans as well. Just crazy about it. So
That's like a staple in your set list, is that song?
absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's our first top 2 on Good Noise Podcast. And hey, that's fine. That's cool. So what would you say your dream venue to play in is?
Wow. I actually, from childhood, I would have said really, what's this, Whiskey Go Go.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
So that would have been. Unfortunately, we never got to play there, but that was just one of those ones where so many famous bands played that we all liked, and where I thought, like, she's really like to play there one day. And then there's also,
Yeah.
is it called the Viper Room? Is it also there on Sunset? Is it the Viper? Johnny Depp's place?
Oh,
It's not called
wait,
the
I
Viper.
think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's actually really kind of small place. Really, also quite a well-known place. I forget what it's called, but those would have been the top 2. Apart from that, those are ones that we never got to play. And then I guess I also, from the first time I ever came to Europe, I saw the Olympia Stadium in Munich. It was the first city that I was ever in Europe, and having seen a lot of football on TV when I was young, it was just this magnificent stadium, and then got to play there.
Oh.
So that was
Oh,
like a
wow.
big thing for me. Yeah, no, we played there some years ago, and that was
Awesome.
like a big deal.
Awesome.
Yeah, as it should be.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Of course.
You guys can still see me okay, or am I just disappearing into the...
You're slowly disappearing.
It's
into the
slowly
abyss.
disappearing.
Yeah.
But it's still okay for you guys. You just tell me if you need me to move for the video, or is the mysterious thing working for the video?
It's working. It's working.
It's working. It's
Yeah.
working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, you guys, by the way, you are based in, is it in East Coast, right?
Yes.
New York?
Yes.
Yeah.
New York. Okay, cool. Whereabouts in New York?
Well,
I say as if I would know all the places.
Well,
but tell me
we're just based in like the Eastern time zone. I'm in New Jersey.
You're in New Jersey.
And I'm in Virginia.
Yes.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a good friend who's moving there now, actually.
Oh, it's a very good spot. A lot of things to do. A lot of good things to do. I don't know. We have a
Big state.
beach.
Yeah.
We have a beach, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mock him every time, and I remind him that he's moving to West Virginia, and then he has to tell me, like, dude, please stop it. No offense to any West Virginians, but
Yeah, no offense to them. They just suck. No. I'm kidding. That's too funny.
So where do you see the band in the next 5 years?
That's a tricky question. I actually, I tell you, this album that we were doing now for us was more like a stepping back into the whole pot, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
We pieced together this album now over the last while, and we're releasing slowly, track by track, but it's for us more of a stepping stone to be able to then get together and just, do things faster, I mean, I say that in the sense that, like, when the way that we did it now, that was the only way that we were going to be able to do it, to be honest, because we just had a lot of other things that we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when you just get in there and you write and you don't get so precious about things and it just comes out and you can just keep on producing new stuff, I find that sometimes psychologically a lot healthier.
Yeah.
So in this case, it was slowly written over quite a long period of time. So I see it as like us stepping back into the whole thing. In 5 years, I imagine we would have done another 2 albums additionally,
Wow.
to be honest. So yeah.
Awesome.
Looking
Yeah,
forward
yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And playing in Virginia and New Jersey.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. We're
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah,
Come
we'll
on.
be there.
Yes,
Good.
definitely. So for the last couple questions, we're
Yeah.
going to move away from music and we're going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So, if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, okay. It would absolutely, most certainly be massive steak,
Ooh.
and it would be something that they make here in Germany called Bratkartoffeln.
Ooh.
I probably just said that completely wrong. Bratkartoffeln. So
It
basically,
sounds cool.
it's basically like potatoes that they prepare in a specific way, which is like really soft on the inside and kind of caramelized and crusty on the outside.
Oh.
And I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
There will be a mushroom sauce with it as well, which they also do here in Germany. Like it's food porn. It's amazing. I could just kind of almost drink cups of it. It's
Oh,
so
wow.
good. So
I think
that's what I would have.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like there's at least an American version fondant potatoes. That's basically what we have, only it doesn't have a mushroom sauce, but that's
Yeah.
still
Or a
yeah.
fancy name.
Yeah.
You gotta. It's much easier to pronounce though. It's easier to order.
Yeah.
So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Fictional world for a week. I would say Gotham City.
Be safe.
I would say Gotham City because it just looks like it's got all the extremes,
Mm-hmm.
like even further than we can imagine right now. Although we have a lot of extremes in our world too, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It's getting there, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got all those really, really kind of big extremes, and you have Batman there.
Yeah.
I think
That's
we'd get
definitely a
along.
highlight.
Yeah.
Batman.
So Gotham City.
Gotham City. Solid.
Yes.
Solid.
Or no, I'm gonna take it back.
Okay.
Actually, no. I wanna go to Neverland.
Oh, Neverland.
Yes. So I went to Neverland, as in a la Peter Pan.
I don't know that.
You don't know Peter Pan?
I know Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Neverland is the place where they basically where all Peter Pan and the Lost Boys, I think that's what they were called.
Mm-hmm.
That's the place that they would go.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, if I'm not mistaken, was it the second star on the left and then straight till morning?
Mm-hmm.
The directions.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, but anyway, particularly there was the movie Hook. That was like a kind of a cinematic version of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't seen the movie Hook, it's with Robin Williams.
Williams, yeah.
Oh.
And so that version of Neverland, I would go there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Neverland. Not Neverland, Michael Jackson Neverland. Not that one.
Okay. Solid.
Yeah.
So I have the honor of asking the last question. Some
Yes.
say it's the most important question.
Mhm.
What is your favorite color?
It's. I would say it is aquamarine.
Ooh.
Very specific.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
very specific. Thank you. We didn't have to ask you.
And
for
yeah,
be
any
specific.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So as Gloria said, that's all the questions we have. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Anything that I'd like to plug? Well, what I would like to plug to our cousins there over the Atlantic is, since we have not over the years had so much opportunity to introduce our music to you, I would invite you to not only go and listen to our current music, but our next music coming out, and send it to a friend, because it makes for great birthday gifts, bar mitzvah gifts, like having a baby gifts, etc. Yeah. So
Just makes for a great gift in general.
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
Hey. Well, thank you for sitting down with us, Chris.
Thanks so much, guys.
Chris from Livingston, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.